Hello and welcome to newssaga.com. Today we have with us Alta H Mabin once again. She's South African writer, editor, publisher of a very renowned international magazine, Poet Unlimited. Alta, welcome to you also today.
Thank you. It's really, really nice to chat to you again. It's been a while.
And it's been a 7 months past away when we talked and discussed about your previous interview. And you
That's right.
told us that you are super excited about your second edition, which is going to publish shortly. And so during this period, how is the progress and how things is going on out there?
Well, I'm now working on issue 14 of Poets
Wow.
Unlimited, which we've just celebrated our 1 year anniversary, which was incredibly humbling because so many writers came into the magazine, and some of the writers are still with me from issue 1. So that's incredibly exciting to see all the new writers, but it's also very um, rewarding to see that those that came in are still with me. If I can mention a few, Andy N, um, Jeremy Phillipson, Dion Bass. So there's a lot of them that's still with me, and sometimes they skip a month and they come back in again. But I've also 6 months ago I've also started my haiku magazine, which is called Haiku for Your Soul, and that's, as you know, haiku is my first love, will always be my
Oh,
first love, and I can't look at something and not see syllables. So it was only fitting for me to start a second magazine with my absolute passion for haiku. And I think I have managed to inspire a few more people to look into the form of haiku poetry. And that's what it's really all about for me, is to just inspire and allow everyone to just express themselves without feeling judged or feeling any kind of insecurity. I will not publish anything that is very controversial, but I will allow it at times, because everyone has a reason why they write something. So I try not to turn anyone away.
that's great. And so can you just elaborate a little bit that how is the haiku your soul is little kind of different from your previous Poetry Unlimited magazine? This is second magazine which you're focusing on. So what is the specific things you have in this?
Okay, so with haiku, it's very short. So you
Mhm.
have, if you go to the traditional haiku, your 575 syllables, which means it's 3 lines. You have very little time and very little space to bring your message across. So it's very challenging.
Yep.
And when someone watches a haiku poet, they're always counting because you're counting syllables. Um, and it is it is when you expand onto understanding what haiku means, that it means traditionally you're writing about nature. Um,
Yeah.
and it gives you an almost a meditative state where
Mhm.
you reflect on a pretty scenery and you're expressing in 3 lines how you feel. And you're allowing the reader to feel that emotion and to see the image you're writing to.
Okay, so that the notion is carrying with to the new kind of magazine you're presenting to the audience, and
Yes,
so hopefully this is a new kind of flavor and ingredients the audience get in this, and you have so focusing on the new books on this, and you're publishing new stuff, and you yeah.
yes.
So please tell us about
Yes.
this.
Okay, so I have actually made a list because I forget. As you know, I'm old. So, yeah, so I brought out a few books in the last months. One of them was This Is It. It was basically a memoir of love. I took myself back to stages of my life where I was in love, and it's one thing because most of my books, early books, was all about pain and grief and hurt, and it
Yeah.
was important for me to bring out the other side of me because I can cry, but I can laugh and I can smile. So that was This Is It. And then I brought out a haiku book inspired by Namibia, which is a place in Africa. My youngest son went on a travel for a month and he came back with the most exquisite photographs of the desert and wildlife, and it was just extraordinary. I could not just leave it. I had to write about it. So I dedicated the book to him. And then Pain versus Love was basically me looking at the pain I've gone through, then the love I was also feeling, and bringing it all together to say that without pain we can't have love, without love we can't have pain. We've just got to balance the two and compromise and push ourselves every day, every moment to be kinder towards any opportunity, any relationship, any person, any animal, anything has pain and love, no matter how you look at it. And it's up to us as individuals, when we have a voice to speak on both. Because I can be talking to you and you may have had a bad day today, but I won't know that because we're not in a situation where we're talking about our day. So if I'm giving you an unkind word, you walk away with not feeling any good energy from me. But if everyone can just start their day with something inspiring, something beautiful, it doesn't always have to be poetic. It can just be a very kind word of saying, "Oh, your hair looks so great. Oh my gosh, you haven't gone grey." Something really, really inspiring. Just to lift somebody up, even just for a second. And then my latest book, which I'm very, very, very grateful about, is called Hope in Syllables. So, what I've done is, because I love haiku so much, I have been pondering around the idea of having a book that is not just poems, but it's a story in haiku. So, what I did is within Hope Within Syllables, I've brought out almost like a haiku narrative of my life. I've just published the second chapter, and this morning it was number 5 in the Japanese haiku poetry on Amazon. And I was like, what? Wow, okay. I didn't even think it would even get anywhere there. And it's a transition for me, to only have focused on the hurt and the pain. And I can honestly say, starting Poets Unlimited has changed me as a person, number one, and as a writer, because I read all this amazing work from writers from all over the world, and how can you not be touched by that, by everyone's story? Um, During lockdown, we've all been um, hurt through families and friends contracting the virus and being ill. Um, about 3 months ago, my eldest son had COVID, and it was the most devastating time because I couldn't go to the hospital. I could only speak to him on the phone, and it was the most daunting thing when it happens to someone so close to you, and that there's absolutely nothing you can do but just be there for them. And then Shweta Rajeshwari, also one of the writers for the magazine, landed up in hospital in India, and I cried because I thought, I just realized how much I adore her. And I've never met her, but we have got a connection. And I think the whole message I'm trying to give is, it doesn't matter who this touches. It can be someone so close to you, your family, your child, but also somebody that you have a connection with.
Yeah,
There's no difference. There's no difference with how we hurt when someone is ill. And just to be supportive of everybody, anybody that comes into your space.
yeah. And even though you have, I it seems that you're super hurry to reach your destination. And whenever I talk to you, that it seems that you are just you're with your mission, reach to the faster to your goals. And during this 1 year of duration, you have published 14 publications of the Poetry Unlimited, and now we are publishing new magazine, new books. Just kind of is unstoppable. Working hard to.
I wrote something the other day, and I haven't published it yet because I thought it's so silly. I was trying to figure out who am I compared to what I was a year ago, and when you go through trying to dissect who you have become through writing, it's quite exciting to see how we change daily because of the people that interact with us. You know, I think if I go back a year ago, I'm still the same person, but I'm richer in my soul because I've had such rewarding times with understanding that there's so much more to just having your own book. You have to continue to grow within other people and to inspire other people. And the last time we spoke, you asked me what is the one uh, word of advice, and I said show up for your dreams. I haven't stopped using that because you were the one that actually inspired that months ago. I think it was 7, 8 months ago when we spoke, and I use that almost daily. And when I have new writers coming into the magazine, when I say I accept your submissions and blah, 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 at the end I say, thank you for showing up for your dreams. Because that's what Poets Unlimited started out to be about. And it's progressively grown into a community of people that's, that's so kind and so creative, and creatively they are kinder every day because they understand the hurt of the world.
And as per you, with not just a creative person. You are just a person who mobilize the team together, and you are very caring, your mother, and you care about your family, and almost you take care of your team. So why don't you tell us about your team and your jewels and gems of your team who are writing the poetry for your magazine, and as you are, your mission to hunting new talent for your magazine. Why don't you tell us about your creative person, new poets, and all the talented people?
Okay, so one of I call him my bonsai poet. You know, bonsais are very small, haiku is very small. So RJ Tungsten, he's from America, and I helped him publish his first book. And I'm very, very proud of him. He's been in the magazine a couple of months before I started pushing him and saying, come on, you've got to do your first book. And he was scared and didn't know how, but we did it. In 5 days, we published him, and within 48 hours, he was #1 on Amazon.
Mhm.
And he's gone
Yeah,
from
great.
strength to strength because of that. You know, that's that. I'd say that is like the biggest highlight of the last year. And I have Vivian Chopolis, who she's an amazing photographer, but she sat there one day and she just thought of writing, and it turned out to be a haiku without her even realizing it. And today she writes a haiku a day. You know, I have the most amazing people that just continue to inspire me as a writer. You know, that I sometimes sit back and I go, okay, I wasn't doing the inspiring thing here. They were. You know, somebody would read the magazine and I would get feedback and they'll say, this writer, his words touched me, or how old is this girl? And she writes like that, you know. So for me, I think that is bringing it all together again for me. And I know that I always talk about Poets Unlimited, but it has become me. Um, I said to my youngest son the one day, I said, "What happens if I pass away? What's going to happen?" And he's like, "Mom, it will be like you never left." we will continue with the magazines for you. And to understand that the people closest to me don't get all my attention these days. I mean, I literally have 3 or 4 hours a week where I can say, okay, I can sit down and I can watch a movie with my son or do something. But then there are times when I take myself out for 4 days to just, revisit my mind and my soul and just realign myself with my chakras and, everything that we believe in. Um, and it's important, to nourish myself daily. Otherwise, I'm going to burn out, and I will not be able to let any of these writers down. I can't. I wouldn't be able to live with myself. So, I started this journey, and it's not something that I can just close a chapter and say, okay, I'm done now. This will continue until my last breath, and hopefully after that still.
Yeah, even the last time when we meet first time, and I explore that you are not just only a creative person. You are a leader. You just leading the team with you and just motivating all of them to work for show up their dream. So your dream, their dream, and both the team all put together and going for the great grand dream. And
I
and
don't think
leading this.
my dream can be a dream without their dream being in my dream, you know?
Yeah, and all the dream put together is a grand dream, grand big dream. And as you told you always that you are leading potential and lead the most creative person, because it's I personally believe and find very difficult to motivate the creative person, because the creative person have some goody kind of expression. They're not
We're
the normal
difficult.
person. They're, yeah, very it's
Difficult
very
people.
difficult because the artistic and the creative persons are very moody by nature, and you can't just motivate all of them because they think in a different world. And to convince them, especially you need to be an artist. It's not a normal manager. You need to have a very artistic approach to the people who have that kind of creative environment. So it's not an easy task we are doing on. So I'm really proud of you, and it's really doing that job.
Thank you. I appreciate you. I appreciate your support. You always support me. And, even though we don't talk very often, but when we talk, I think it's necessary. It's almost like we're seeking each other out just to be able to have that little bit of a communication. And I see what you do as well. Your work is no different than mine because you're leading the youth, and that's our future. You also inspire people without knowing it. Here I am, second time around. If I wasn't inspired by anything that you do, I wouldn't be here. So don't take it for granted that we also see what you do.
So another great qualities of a leader to appreciate others. That's also you have.
Thank you.
That's amazing to know that during this period you have did that much of progress. And I hope all the things you can have get in the Amazon. And where can I find your book in
On
magazine?
Amazon is probably the best place to go under Alta H Mabin, and my website is still there, www.altahmabin.co.za. And then just on
So
Instagram, I think
yeah,
they want to communicate with me. They want to submit to the magazine. Um, I will never say no. I have moved submission dates further so that people can get ready for submissions because they're late. Um, no, I will make it happen. Anybody that wants
and
to be mentored or they just want to know how to go about writing their first book, I will always have that conversation with them.
and all the viewers who are watching also out here, that please grab your editions on the Amazon and from the website which Alta have. So little promotion from my side. So I always want to support you on this. This was just great. And so apart from the work, obviously you are doing great out there. So I want to little bit divert to the another subject, which is COVID and the Corona situation. So it is very difficult time for us during this pandemic, and lots of great souls and lives are passed away from this earth. So I wanted to know how is the COVID situations out there in South Africa and how things are going on. And
Yeah, our numbers are not that high as they used to be. They are down significantly, but there are still people being infected daily. So we all back at work. We've been back at work for months. The industries are all open, but we still got to wear masks and we sanitize. We still got to do all of those necessary things. And I think if everyone can just breathe, take a breath, exhale, and just start their day with wearing a mask and sanitizing, we can make a difference. There are people even here that they refuse to wear masks, um, and it's heartbreaking because they haven't had someone close to them die or in hospital, and why should that happen before they start listening? I was speaking to my mom earlier on, and I was telling her that I was having an interview with you again, and she was telling me I was just looking this morning, and India has got so many, like 300,000 people, and she was like really really concerned. Please ask him if he's okay. I'm like, no, I'm sure he's okay. So the world knows that India is probably the most affected country at the moment. Um, that it's devastating because there's nothing that a person like me can do from here. All that we can do, every single person, is just wake up every day and say thank you. Thank you that we are still okay, and pray for those who are not okay.
yeah, that's true that India is a very populated country after
Yes.
China, the most populated. So as per the land we live in, we are very very lots of people everywhere. And anyway, we're just trying to cooperate with our government decisions, and now
Yeah.
we're successfully try to have a vaccine in the market. And now the
Have
vaccination
you
is
not
going on.
got vaccinated yet? Have you not got the vaccine yet?
Okay. Yeah. So I mean, it's available out here. So you just now government is focusing on the people who have over 45 years. So we have the priority to first vaccinate our elders. Then we young
Mm-hmm.
people will go come later.
Yeah, we
First the
we are
elder
the
first.
same here. Yeah, they've given it to
Yeah,
all the health workers first, and then the elderly, and then they progressively they would roll it out to everybody else. But there's a lot of older people that needs it first, and I will
yes,
certainly
yes, yes.
stand back so that an older person can get it first.
Yeah.
I'm happy to wait
Even though
here.
yeah, even though successful the vaccines come to the market, we have little hope on this. We have confidence and we have a faith on our government that
Mm.
things are good for us. So we're trying to
Yeah,
cooperate with the government and and we hopefully uh, around the globe we just appeal to all the governments and the WHO to help to distribute the vaccines and all the
yeah.
resources to the people that everybody ends up come out of the bad times very early.
Yeah, it's when we look back a year ago when it all started, it was a different conversation. We weren't as touched by it, as sensitive to it because it was just starting out, and now we've learned how devastating it is, and we all just hope that it will go away soon. But I think that we need to just, whatever happens, we need to just be safe, and keep those that we love safe.
Yeah, sure, sure. And I want to go for our next question about the society you are living in. And South Africa is a great land. It's a land of revolution, and most of the people have got the Nobel Prize for the peace, science, literature out there. And it's a land which Mahatma Gandhi have their working field out there to start their career out there. So tell us something about South African society, how it's behaving, and how it's going on, everything out there.
A little bit more about South Africa. Um, okay, well, as you know, crime is a very, very big thing for us. Um, and there's a lot of poor people, a lot of poor people. And during COVID, many, many companies closed down. So, and I think that goes for all countries. You know, there's been
Yeah,
a
yeah,
great
yeah,
loss of employment and
yeah,
families and industry. And but I also see the good. You know, I think the last time we spoke about um, you know, just trying to see the good side out of anything that is
yeah,
just horrible. And you know, when I drive to work, I look at the wildflowers, cosmos, because we're nearing winter, and it's such a beautiful flower, you know. And I always think that um, with everything that's happening around us, if we can just focus on one beautiful thing daily, um, we can actually start making a difference of how people see things. You know, when we think of Iraq or Iran, we see war, we see people at war. When people think of South Africa, there's lots of corruption, there's lots of crime, but there's such beauty too. You know, the same with India at the moment. There's so many deaths, there's so many infections, but there's so much beauty too. And we gotta source that beauty out and hold on to that. Um, we can sit here and talk about all the bad things of every single country in the world.
yeah,
But if we can flip that and say, let's rather look at all the very beautiful things that's around us, you know, that's when we start to understand that God is working every single moment. You know, whether we say namaste, whether we say um, praise God, or whatever the religion is, it is just so important to understand that everything is still alive. Everything that should transition into something else is still happening. I wanted to actually quickly tell you, in December, I was part of um, a world, a global, what's it called? A global greeting. So I don't know if you saw, it was the Say Namaste. And so it was produced in India, and so they selected people from each country. I think they ended up with 42 countries or something, and to basically say namaste. And on the 1st of January, that went out as a global greeting to the world. So that was something quite, and that came from India. So that's also what I'm trying to say to you, is that something that I've almost forgotten about, I was just reminded again because we're talking about India, and that was something so positive, so beautiful, that the whole world was singing along to the Say Namaste song and saying Namaste, you know. So I think there's beauty all around us. We just got to go and just focus on the beauty and the happy things that makes our souls happy.
yeah. So that's a great message in a last, because every society and country have their good and bad, and
Yes,
for yeah, for we have to move on, and we have to keep energize ourselves and work for the good. So we have to focus on the good things. That's also a good thing in the society to focus on.
yeah,
And as a creative person, as a creating new things, we should have to see the good things in the society and give back to the society as a good, very positive thing.
yeah, yeah. Look, I mean, I think we all get a little bit down at times, but it's when you go through those times and you come through them to understand that you weren't alone. You know, something inside of you was working with you, whether it was nature, whether it was another human being, whether it was God, it doesn't matter. We all can get through it, you know. And I think the biggest lesson for me has always been to start your day with gratefulness and kindness. Be grateful that you woke up, and be kind to those who are kind to you. Those who are not kind to you, try and be kind to them. Be kinder to them because they probably need it more. You know, it's hard, but we have to try.
And this is another, qualities of a leader, that always be optimistic about the life.
I am. I always say my glass is not half empty. It's always overflowing, because you always got to think and think and think, and not let it go half empty or empty. You've always got to nourish your soul, feed your soul.
Yes, and Alta, honestly, I would say that I'm not just seeing you as a publisher. I always see as a leader, and you have those qualities within you, and it's really amazing to have you again on the platform and share your time with us, share your work, and share all the positivity and the teamwork. Thank you very much for being with us, and we wish you a very bright future and growth in the career. Thank you
Thank
very
you
much.
so much. Thank you. It's
Thank you.
always a pleasure being
Namaste.
with you. Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you.